My pleasure to introduce you to the star of our meeting today, our speaker, Cristal Montanez. She is a wife, mother, grandmother, global citizen, humanitarian, social activist, former Miss Venezuela, and proud Rotarian. She is an avid traveler, and she loves to spend time playing with her little grandson Vincenzo Fioravanti, did I say that right? And her precious granddaughter, Kelly Cristal. Yes. Currently, Cristal is the executive director of Hashu Foundation. Hashu is a 501c3 nonprofit organization in Houston, and their headquarters is in Islamabad, Pakistan. Her work supports a diverse portfolio of foundation projects in Pakistan and also in Houston. She leads economic development, educational projects to empower vulnerable communities and help promote a more peaceful and inclusive society in areas of high levels of poverty and illiteracy in Pakistan. Her main focus is on the women's empowerment through honeybee farming project called Plan B Project, winner of the prestigious BBC Newsweek magazine 2008 World Challenge Competition Global Award, also Clinton Global Initiative Feature Commitment, and highlighted by TEDx. For the past 5 years, Cristal has worked with Rotary Books for the World and the Second Wind Foundation team to promote literacy in Pakistan. She serves on the board of directors of Sister Cities of Houston, Mayor's Advisory Council of International Communities, Houston Karachi Sister Association Board of Directors. As you can see, it's a wonderful speaker for us, and she's going to talk to us today about Books for the World, a Rotary program. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I want to tell you a story of how Books of the World for Pakistan came about. Before I do that, I want to bring you to Pakistan with me so you can see the condition that the country is in regarding the challenges that affect the civic society. Yes, it worked. So, one of the main challenges affecting the civic society in Pakistan are poverty and illiteracy. The challenge of poverty alleviation in Pakistan is huge. Just imagine a country with a population of over 184 million people, 21% of which live under the poverty line, and more than 1/3 of the population only make $1.25 per day, which actually went up in the last 5 years. It was only $1 per day. And I'd like to go over how the United Nations is who decides when the countries are under the poverty line, and it's usually measured by populations that make between the 1 and 125 range. It's considered under extreme poverty line. So these are some of the different scenes that you will see in Pakistan and in some of our countries that are represented here today. It's a very serious global problem. However, Pakistan ranks second in global out-of-school children, which makes the issue of getting out of poverty and education even harder. 1 in 10 children of the world not in primary education live in Pakistan, making the second country with the highest global out-of-school children. One of the challenges that affect Pakistan is the gender inequality. Usually affects the girls and the women in this very conservative society. Usually the parents, instead of sending the girls to school, they ask them to go out and they are handed trivial jobs so they can make money to help support the family. So this is a very typical picture that you will see in the cities of Pakistan, but I'd like to emphasize that we'll see it in the cities of Latin American countries, African countries will see the same challenges all over the world. In Pakistan, one of the most serious challenges is the militancy and the terrorism. The attack on schools especially, we're going to focus on the children since we're going to be talking about books of the world. And these challenges in society usually affect girls who are not allowed to get the same education as young boys. And one of the best well-known cases is the Malala Yousafzai, who won the the Nobel Peace Prize for her courage. Actually, I was in Pakistan when Malala was shot, because our honeybee farming project is very close to the area where the incident was. So how do we turn all these challenges into opportunities? That's where the Hashu Foundation comes in. And our mission is to enable and empower communities to be independent by facilitating them with equitable access to opportunities. We work all over the country, and you can see here that we are spread out, yes, everywhere in the country, including some of the trivial and very vulnerable communities. How do we get the books of the world in Pakistan? I received an email. This is what is important, that you read all your emails. I was copying an email where Charlie was requesting if somebody could open Pakistan. They had a challenge, Charlie Clements, they had a challenge for the last 5 years getting into Pakistan. And I was copying to the email. I read it, but I waited because all the other organizations were big organizations. And here in Houston, we have a very small office, even though we have a middle-sized foundation in Pakistan with 328 colleagues just about. So I figured I'm going to let to see if one of the big organization responds, but nobody responded. So I responded and I say, I would love to make that connection because our director of education, not education, health, is a Rotarian. And he's a very active Rotarian for the Islamabad Margala Rotary. So I figured it was a great connection. So there was a challenge. Okay, we need to abide by the MOU or Rotary Books of the World and fit into all the other requirements. So I mentioned to Charlie and Barbara, that's okay, I'm going to Pakistan in 2 weeks. We'll get that taken care of. And this is what happens. We had a meeting. This is my colleague, the man on the right-hand inside is your colleague also, Rotarian for Islamabad Margala. The lady with the white dupatta is the governor at that time of the Rotary Islamabad Margala. Very important because it's a woman.
What are their names?
Okay, leadership. This is in Islamabad. And she's an entrepreneur. That is her restaurant that we're visiting. This is one of her colleagues. And here we are discussing the Rotary Books of the World and how we can abide to the commitment. So this was the commitment. In 2011, I traveled to Pakistan with the goal of creating this strategic alliance to get the Rotary Books of the World. The whole idea was to start small and build it up sustainable to get the whole country. So we began with the signing of the MOU, which happened in this meeting, and the objective is the objective of the project to promote literacy and education throughout the country through the distribution of 3 books. This is the second partnership that we established in the same trip with the Rotary Rawalpindi. So here we're moving forward, building this partnership. Why books in Pakistan? A lot of people ask, what are they going to do with English books in Pakistan? The bottom line is that most Pakistani want to be educated. They want to learn English. And they teach English in school. There is a tremendous lack of books because they are expensive. Quality books are very expensive. They are not accessible, and they are not available in the schools either. So we began working first with one container, then with 2 containers, then we added 3 containers between 2011 and 2015, and those work containers has been distributed. In 2015, we received these 5 containers that are scheduled to be distributed this year in 2016. So we got a total of 10 containers donated by Rotary Books of the World.
Wow.
We have distributed today 206,949 books accounted for. Okay, and I'll go into the process a little bit later. These books has been distributed to 223 educational institutions, and that is the numbers of books and to how many educational institutions has been distributed per container and per year. These are the areas of the country where the books are mainly distributed, and is basically in the 4 provinces of Pakistan. So what is the distribution process? Imagine getting the container full of books, and you that are the volunteers for this program here in the United States, I cannot emphasize how important your job is. It is extremely important, because without volunteers and without the people who had the idea to create these programs, the Second Wind Foundation and the Rotary Books for the World in general, all these countries will not have been benefiting from this extraordinary project. So we first classify and sort the books. Pakistan is a very sensitive culture. There are books that have to be discarded. And I was very pleased to see that the Bibles in a Muslim country were classified and taken to St. Mary's School. Yes. So my colleagues took the Bibles to the Catholic schools, to the Christian schools. Then we create an inventory. We make an announcement through the social media, website, email, and the press. It's open for the whole country. Then what we do is we have a standard application, and I'll show it to you later. And we made it available. At the beginning, we just had it on paper, on the newspapers. We didn't have it online, and it became a little bit complex doing it manually. Then we have the SOPs and the checklist to the applicants so they know what their responsibilities are, because we sign a memorandum of understanding with each of the institutions that receive the books to make sure that they abide to the regulations of Rotary. And we actually stamp the books. So these books cannot be sold. Then we have a team that selects the applicants formed between Rotary and the Hashu Foundation. Okay, so we make sure that the institution is real, that there is a real need, and then we get in contact with these applicants. We have the signing of the MOU and an invitation to all the people all over the country who applied to come and pick up the books that they selected from the inventory. So they're only ordering the books that they need. It's not that they come and they get 5 boxes of books and they don't know what they're getting. No, they look through a very precise, detailed inventory, and they are able to select, and now we're doing it digitally, which is absolutely great.
That's fantastic.
Then the books are distributed in a main mega ceremony. We got the principals of all these institutions coming to Islamabad, with the exception of the very remote areas like Gilgit-Baltistan, the tribal areas, where we send it through our offices in the area, because it's very difficult to come to the valley, to Islamabad. This is what we plan every time we have a container. This is the guide. This is the snapshot of the implementation, plan distribution. We try to make it as official as any other project of the foundation. So it becomes sustainable and trusted, which is very important, because also we have the alliance with Rotary Books of the World, and the alliance now with several Rotary clubs in Pakistan. The key recipients are federal and provisional school, colleges, community-based local libraries and reading rooms, national universities, local and national NGOs, and early childhood development centers. We have created, in conjunction with Rotary, many community reading rooms, and it happens usually the schools close, and at night those spaces are used for children and families to come. Some of them have gone so far that they can check out the books. Some of them, they just come to look through the beautiful pictures. It really depends. This is what we publish now that we're doing it digitally. We went one step up about the program, and that's how we get people to respond. This is the form that they need to fill to get incorporated into the system and to be evaluated. Now we do it this way. And this is what it looks like when you receive a container. That happened to me there. And I look inside and I saw all those boxes and books and I said, okay, let's close. So just imagine the importance of the volunteers here who classify the books, pack the books, loaded the containers in the pallets, and that transcends overseas, where in many countries, including Pakistan, we receive these containers. Then the books are taken out of the container and they are taken to the storage facility. So it's all manual. We don't have electric cars, or we don't have anything. It's just volunteer, pure volunteer work. This is what it looks like when the volunteers are sorting those books, and you've probably seen that here when they are sorted before their package. Interesting, look that we have girls volunteering with the boys, which I think is great. Once they are organized, classified, and we have screened the different organizations to make sure that they do exist, this is the invitation that people receive, and we host them with a ceremony. Here are the preparations where the volunteers are putting together and separating the books for the different organizations. And this was the first distribution and MOU signing in Islamabad. And it was led by Nafisa Khattab, which was the governor at that point. We tried to brand the project very well, so everybody knows who are the partners. This is the second that we began to grow in the ceremonies, distribution ceremonies. All these are heads of schools that came from all over the country to pick up their books. Here are people picking up books and the students and volunteers lining up. This is what made possible such a successful distribution. The same that is what it makes possible here in the United States, such a successful project that transcends to so many other countries and so many millions of people benefit from it. So volunteers are the key. This is another set of proud volunteers. And this is visiting one of the schools with Nafisa. This library was created with books of the world. They didn't have a library.
No.
So they just put the stands and they were filling the shelves when I was there. I'm going to show you pictures of the distribution to different organizations so you can see the diversity of the settings and of the people also. This is a school in a very remote area. Notice that nobody wants their face to be seen except for the kids.
Yeah.
This is a very conservative area. You can see by the corporal language how people feel about being exposed, especially women. So all these are different areas all over Pakistan. Gilgit-Baltistan is in the frontier of China, India, and Afghanistan. That's how far these books are getting to the schools, including the Karakorum University, that I believe is the only university that we have over there. Always there is a signing of MOU. And the project has developed into a very desirable project, needed project that has built to something wonderful. Let me show you. Look at the distribution of books.
Wow.
All that are little heads.
No, wow.
There was a huge distribution for the Society for Women Empowerment and Rural Development. All those are students that attended the celebration. This is again in Gilgit-Baltistan. I want you to pay attention to the mountains. Many of these kids, their school is outside. And these mountains are,
Is that their classroom?
Up
In
in the
some
mountains,
cases.
it's close to Nepal.
in some cases. Some NGOs have set up schools in this part of the world, and they have regular schools, but some kids still go to school. This, as we can tell, is late probably in the fall, because there is no plants and in the fall or at the beginning of the spring. So what do we do with the containers? That's something very important, because we receive these containers and what happened with them. This is the first container that we received, and it was transformed into a place for special children to look at and be excited to walk and motivate them to get your snacks inside this canteen. So the center place is called Omid Nur, and it's the same place that allow us to keep the books and give us all the space for all the Rotary operations for free.
That's great.
The container 2 and 3, we got a proposal, we submitted it to Rotary, they approved it, and it was for a clinic. 2 containers together for a clinic in a remote community.
Did you
So that was
get
the
medical?
projection.
Did you get medical literature donated if it was for a clinic?
No.
Oh.
You mean from here, from Rotary?
Mm-hmm. Like
No.
did they
This
request
is
medical?
an NGO
Okay.
called Global Development Foundation,
Mhm.
and they try to set up clinics and assistance centers in very remote areas. But no, I didn't know that we were able to get any support material for the medical. That's good to know. And this is what the projection of what was going to look about. And they are still in the process of getting, because it's expensive to transport. They have to put generators and air conditioner and all this conditioning. The rest of the empty containers are handed to the Rotary Pakistani National Polio Plus Committee to be converted in mobile clinics. Unfortunately, Pakistan is one of the countries where polio is back in a few cases, so there is a huge polio campaign.
There's a way to recycle.
Rotary Books of the World is contributing towards the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We have distributed books that have sent here from the United States to different schools or Rotary clubs, because we're working in a close liaison. And these are the sustainable goals that we are promoting: quality education and gender equality. Every time we do an event with the partners, there is a lot of publicity in Pakistan. We have a lot of television, a lot of the newspapers pay attention. Rotary is highlighted, the books are highlighted, the partnership is highlighted. It's interesting. All these development, organization, planification, development, and sustainable project has led to something very interesting. Hashu Foundation was awarded the grant from USAID for a project called Pakistan Reading Project, PRP. So this project, we will be providing 300 books in English and 100 books in Urdu to 40 schools. But the outreach of the school, and we're doing this in partnership with the Rotary Rawalpindi. The outreach is amazing. 1,640 individuals that is projected with the U.S. federal plan for this particular project because it's USID for Pakistan. 800 parents and 800 students. The idea is to get the parents, either one of them, to work with one of their children in a partnership to learn how to read, to go to the different forums. 40 teachers are involved, 16 male, 24 females from 40 schools. 800 students are target, among them 560 girls that made for 70%, and 240 boys that made for 30%. So it's just an amazing project, and it's possible because we have the donations from Rotary Books of the World. So why Hashu Foundation? Because I believe we are one of the few foundations around the world that is working very closely with Rotary in this type of projects. We have a presence and regional offices in all provinces of Pakistan. We are a tax exempt in the US and in Pakistan, tax exempt non-profit organization. We have experience and partnership with public and private educational organizations. We have availability to store the books and have the space to be able to sort them and to keep them. Like right now we are sorting 5 containers. It's crazy. It's going to take a little while, and it's going to be distributed. The books are ready. We have a dedicated staff for this project. We have dedicated now in the educational department a staff just for the Rotary Books of the World because it has gone national. We have a great management information system and a great management evaluation and research team that are behind the project. Also, we have the availability of volunteers. We use more than 200 volunteers who are young people that are enrolled in colleges and different schools that are available to us to short notice. This is now we have expanded our partnership with Rotary Club Karachi and Lahore, and that meeting was here in Houston during the book legger, 4th book legger. That was last year. And on behalf of the people of Pakistan and the Hashu Foundation, I just want to say thank you, especially to the volunteers, to the Rotary Books of the World, to the Second Wheel Foundation, and everybody involved in this project for helping us make Pakistan a better place. Our partnership helping empower and strengthen vulnerable communities. And believe it or not, we are promoting peace, not only education and literacy, but we are promoting peace, relationships between the United States and Pakistan, which are very important in these different times, let's call it interesting times. So, thank you. So, I love it because I've seen it from beginning, from all the questions, from didn't know, okay, is this going to work, not going to work, how we're going to do. When I opened that container, I thought, close it, this is too much. How are we going to get this done?
And you see, all that got started with her opening one email and making the connection.
Krista, you're amazing.
Read your email, please.